Hey guys, what's up? It's AB Trades, and as always, we do the stocks to watch out for tomorrow. So tomorrow being Wednesday, for some reason I thought today was Monday, but it's not. So we're doing the stocks to watch for on Wednesday. The free group chat linked below, the first link below, will give you access to this free group. This free group gives me the stocks that they want me to cover, and then I cover them. So as always, I start off with SPY, which is the S&P 500 ETF. This is based off the futures of ES, and it's basically a mutual fund of 500 stocks. And so we can see where the market is going in general. It usually has the most liquid options, and it determines where the rest of the market is going. So that's why we look at it first. So as we were expecting, or as I talked about and on the Sunday Stock Talk, we were looking for this pushback down, and we were looking to break this range on Tuesday. We broke this range on Tuesday, which is perfect, what we were looking for. Now we have the retracement. We have basically no overhead resistance really until we get to 280. So we are all good and long on SPY until 280. So from where we're currently at about 274 to about 280 is our bullish zone that we are now watching for SPY. So now that we have this bullish zone that we're looking at, we know that we can expect maybe up, pull back up, or maybe just even a shoot up because it's close enough. So we're going to be watching that on SPY. So with a bias of an upside push on SPY, we're going to be biased on upside on other stocks as well. So the first stock that they wanted me to mention is ACB. So ACB I know has been a big stock recently. It's been a big stock to watch out for. It's been a hot stock. That means that volume is in control, and we have a lot of people interested in this stock. So let's go on a 15 minute to see more of a breakdown of the stock. So looking in on intraday time zones, it looks like we had it looked like some call or something recently in an earnings conference call, if it looks like specifically, where it looks like we're actually making this range back up, where we're pushing up, down, and now it looks like we're making that next leg up is what it looks like we're looking at here. But again, if we're charting our support and resistance, we have support here at around 752, and we have another round of support here at 611. So we'll be looking at resistance above here, above 750, and we have support here first at 670, and then the line we drew before that. So we'll be looking for a push up to the upside above 750, and even to test this next resistance of 790, and then even higher to 855. But again, our first support will be at 6.7. Again, as always, I forgot to do this. This is not a stock I trade option, so I always like to go to the trade tab first to look at the options to see what exactly we're looking at here. I still need to save my preferences, but it looks like the volume is great. This is great. A 5-cent spread is doable. Definitely a stock that you can trade with options. Looking at our next one is ATVI. Have not seen ATVI. It looks like Activision, probably they're mentioning this because of earnings that just happened after hours today. Well, first, as always, let's look at the trade tab. The trade tab is going to lie to us a bit because it is earnings, so this options volume is more liquid and has more open interest than it would previously, but because of earnings, we're there. Looking at the trade tab, it looks like we have a 20-cent spread here, 2-cent spread here, and a 15-cent spread here. That spread's just too wide for me personally to trade, so I would not look at Activision for that, but it does look like we're pushing into a resistance, and we have an overall downtrend of lower. Let's see, the next stock we're looking at is Netflix. Netflix has good options, as we talked about before. It looks like we're starting to push into this 360 level, what we were also talking about yesterday and during the Sunday Stock Talk. Let's go out on the daily, and I can show you exactly what I was talking about. I said it looks like we're pulling into this range here of almost like an ascending triangle pattern here, where we're pushing up, we have this volume. As we start to consolidate in price here, we're having this decrease in volume, and now we're having this first huge volume push up to resistance. So now that we're at this 360 resistance, it's all about, are we going to get above here, and is volume going to continue to increase? If we can see a volume increase tomorrow, as well as a break above 360 and test the prior highs, as again, we're already biased to the upside on SPY. So with this bias to the upside, Netflix might as well rip up above 360. So again, 360 will be our level to watch. If tomorrow we're up above 360, might see it pull back and then a bounce and up to the upside on Netflix at least. PCG, again, we talked about that I think yesterday. It's just, again, we're still seeing, you know, this roundabout push up. It looks like it may want some more to the upside, but the options table just leaves much to be desired, where we're not actually having that spread that is actually going to work in our favor. CMG also doesn't quite have that spread, but it was also mentioned. It looks like we're up on earnings. I just earnings gap up previously, and now we're running. We actually had this downside potential here where it looks like we had this perfect triangle breakout to the downside here, and then we just flush the rest of the day. I can see why this stock is being brought up. It looks like it's a candidate for a 10% continuation play to the downside. That being said, we closed in the bottom portion of this range, so if we can hold at 592.55 or below, then we can definitely get down to the next support of 583 and even down to 569 tomorrow. But again, the trade tab with options, the options may be semi-liquid, but we're looking at a spread of $1.20 and even higher, so that's not going to be something I recommend trading, being Chipotle. So we're looking at Shopify. So this had earnings and it dipped down hard, and then we saw this reversal here, almost like a double bottom here, and then we start to see this gap back up. Now that we're a candidate for a 10% continuation play to the upside, so we're looking for it to hold above 177. The options are generally good on Shopify, but they're not looking good right now. We have a 20-cent spread, more like a 75-cent spread or a 70-cent spread, and we're just, it's not the best. So I would say stay away from Shopify for now. CSOD, again, I've never heard of the stocks that looks like IF9 is proposing, so I'm going to look at all the trade tabs first, and 50-cent spread, 20-cent spread, not going to get on that. TWLO, looks like, yeah, we just don't, the option spread is not there, or is there, so we don't want to be trading that. I can see why it has a lot of activity from earnings, but that's not something that we want to trade. We want to be in the most liquid stocks. So multiple people mentioned MU because of, I believe, news that we're also having. Again, I don't look at news, I don't trade news, I really don't care. You can see news in the way a stock moves. So again, looking at this, we're a potential candidate for the 10% continuation play on MU. Long term, let's see what we're looking at here. We're looking at, as we said, this bounce into the exponential moving average, and now we're pushing up higher where we're going to test that $42 point. We're already biased on SPY to the upside. We might as well be biased on MU to the upside, looking at the markets taking a nice reversal thus far until SPY gets to 280. So it looks like on the 5-minute here, let's get in closer for this 10% continuation play. If we can hold between $40.30 and either close to or above 40.76 tomorrow, we'll be looking for a break up higher to test these previous highs of 41.96 on MU, or at least that's just what we're expecting. Let's see, why did it go away? Oh, sorry, I scrolled. I have the chat pulled up on the display below, so that's why y'all can't fully see it. So now we're going to talk about Facebook, next stock recommended. Facebook's been trading in this range, as we talked about on the daily chart yesterday and on the Sunday Stock Talk. We've been trading in this range here, but now we're starting to show some bias to the downside, with volume actually starting to pick up here. So we have room to test this lows of 163.59 and test the lows of 162.56. But again, with SPY having bias to the upside, we may actually see a push up here. Our first resistance that we'll be watching for tomorrow is 166, as it had a double bottom on that yesterday. And then we have a next resistance of 170. So watch out for these levels here. They'll be crucial in trading Facebook. It looks like here MSFT, Microsoft. Let's see if we can get this covered here. Again, we're starting to bounce into this resistance zone, and now we're starting to break above it. This break above is good and something that we want to see for a stock to get higher. If we can load on the 15-minute here, we have a lot of overhead resistance coming into play, being at 107.91, 107.84, and 107. So being around this 108 level, that's something that we're going to have to watch out for. It looks like we actually closed semi around the high, but not close enough for a 10% play. But we are starting to get this movement up to the upside, which is good. That's what we want to see. So maybe if we can hold above these highs, we'll be looking for a potential green day tomorrow on MSFT as well as SPY. M Driven wants to mention Amazon, which is actually was having a few good plays today. It was green despite the market doing some random stuff. This is a perfect candidate for the 10% continuation play, with our high being here at 1639, and we'll be looking at a low of around 1632. If we can hold this range during pre-market and aftermarket, and then we even start to break above, we have room to break up higher on Amazon all the way up to the next resistance of 1675. So we'll be watching that as a 10% continuation play tomorrow. If not, we're going to retest the strong support at 1600. That's what we got on Amazon. Let's see, what other stocks have we mentioned? ATVI from earnings NVDA. That is also always a stock in play. It's not my favorite, but I know a lot of people do great on it, so I'm still going to mention it here. Looking out on the daily so we can have that type of perspective. Again, we're still kind of consolidating in this range here. We're going to start pushing up into this previous resistance here of around 156 being this long-term trend line here. But if we're looking out on the 15-minute, we actually are going to see, you know, this test up here where we're making these lower highs. So this is actually going to be a lower high, and this may be the reversal of our lower high. So we have two things to watch out for here on the video. One being a candidate of a 10% continuation play. If we can hold this level, we can see a breakup higher. But again, we're also at 152, a whole dollar resistance point, and we're making these higher lows. So we're going to be watching out for possible downside below 150 or upside above 152 on the video. It looks like that is all. Oh, AMD and Apple. Sorry, that just came up, so I want to make sure I get that there. So if we look here, AMD is a candidate for the bottom 10% continuation play. If we can get under this, then we'll definitely be making a move to the downside. So for instance, this is an example of AMD almost always follows this 10% continuation plays. So if you can see here, we made this range and then we closed in the bottom portion of the range. This is our low of day at around 23.22, and you can see how we start to grip this range here at around 23.22. We break below it, we come up, we test that level, and then we fall through. So that's exactly what we're going to be looking at tomorrow on AMD here, where we're going to be breaking down, we're going to be holding these lows or breaking below these lows at 2277, 2275, and see if we can break below that and test support at 2222 or at 2220. So that's what we'll be watching out. If we can break below 2220, then our next support is even lower at 2142, 2140. So we'll be watching that on AMD. Last but not least, AAPL, if I can spell. Looks like we're starting to consolidate in this tight range here. Where you can see here how we have a high of 171.40, and then we have this low of making these higher lows here that we're making, breaking up to the upside. If you can see here, volume is high here, volume is high here, volume is high. Volume is starting to decrease slowly but surely here. If we can break above this high, then we'll be testing this high and breaking up further and further. So we'll be watching for that on Apple. All right, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. See y'all in tomorrow's video.